So this year I wanted to create a morning routine that felt good for me. I've spent a few months just adding in stuff in the morning that makes me feel good and getting rid of stuff that makes me feel bad. And in this video, I wanted to walk you through what my morning looks like now. I am a morning gal through and through, but I still have trouble waking up. So I wake up to my alarm that is sitting in my lounge room. I intentionally bought a literal alarm clock because I don't like my phone being the first thing that I pick up in the morning. And I put it really, really far away so that I have to literally get up out of my bed and walk a fair way to turn it off. So I've always been a slow riser, but the best way I've found to get myself to wake up in the morning is bright overhead blue light. I started turning on overhead lights in the morning when I listened to a podcast with Dr. Andrew Huberman. He talks about how in the morning, technically we should be going out, we should be like seeing the sun. Sometimes you can't do that when it's dark, and turning on overhead lights is the best alternative. And you want overhead because that kind of simulates the sun. Like, it's not anywhere near the same, and it sounds obvious and it sounds basic, but when I turn on my overhead lights it wakes me up so much. So I do all of the normal bathroom things. I put on my moisturizer. This moisturizer is amazing. It saved my dry skin. I brush my teeth. Then I take my pill and I take my iron B12 supplements. I used to be terrible at taking these consistently, but I made them more obvious by literally leaning them on my coffee, which I have every morning. Now I'm really consistent with this and I take them every day. Just changing my environment and making them more obvious made me so much more consistent with them. I always pour myself a big water in the morning. I start my day off with water. Then I make myself a decaf coffee. I'm still a decaf girl. I love the taste of instant coffee. I actually quit proper coffee a few years ago just for mental health reasons, but I will have the occasional coffee if I'm out and about. Then I head into my office, I sit on my couch with my little iPad, and I do all of the things that make me feel good in the morning. So the first thing I'm doing on my iPad is using my morning routine shortcut to launch all of the apps that I use in the morning, including my morning routine Notion dashboard. This is new-ish this year. It's not in my Notion pack yet, but it does make doing my morning routine so much easier. So to run my little morning routine, I just click on my morning routine button and then it opens all of my things. Setting up a little morning routine home in Notion or Google Keep or Apple Notes, whatever you use, is just another way of designing your environment to make your routines easier. I think of it as like a little command center with everything that I need for my morning routine in one place. Something that I love of a morning is literally just sitting and drinking my warm coffee. I live for this. These days, I combine that with reading little mental reminders for myself. So I have a list of affirmations and mental reminders that I'm trying to embrace, like everything is figure outable. I have a list of questions that I love that guide me through my days, like what if my priority today was to feel good? I have a list of my 12 questions that I remind myself exist every day while I'm drinking my coffee, like how might I fill my year with magical experiences? If you want to create a list like this, I did recently make a video called List to Make to Change Your Life where I talk about this exercise. Over time, I've learned so many strategies and mindsets that I really want to embrace, but it's really easy to forget those mindsets and actually use those strategies. So while I drink my cup of coffee, I read through them. For everything else in my morning routine, I do give myself a little menu of options. I give myself high and low energy alternatives. 2 books that have helped me to think of my habits as flexible are Sweat by Michelle Segar and Elastic Habits by Stephen Guise. I love having a little menu of options that I can pick from depending on how I feel, how much time I have, and how much energy I have on the day, and it just makes my morning a bit more fun. So after I've had my coffee, I'm choosing between meditating or journaling, or if I'm over both of those options, I also have alternatives like doing a breathwork video, going on a mindset walk, or doing light yoga. This video is sponsored by Artlist. The beautiful music in this video, Artlist. The sound effects in this video, also Artlist. If you are a content creator, Artlist is where to go if you don't want to use stock, standard, boring music. They add new music and sound effects daily, so there's so much variety. You can filter music by mood, video theme, genre, instrument, and even beats per minute. And if you find a song that you really like, they have a similar songs feature so that you can find even more songs that you like. If you want, you can create collections for songs that have similar vibes or for a specific project. You can download what you want, you can use it wherever, and you can cancel at any time if you're finding that Artlist isn't constantly useful. If you download a song or a sound effect with an active subscription, it is yours to use forever, even if you don't resubscribe, so it's stress-free. Artlist is also affordable. They've launched a personal plan for social creators with unlimited downloads for all of your social channels, and the memberships start at just $9.99. Click the link down below to sign up to Artlist, check out the sound effects, check out the music, sign up to a subscription and improve the quality of your content. So this day I journaled, and that's what I've been doing most of the time lately. Right now I'm using a mixture of a journal speak technique, reframing, feeling my feelings to process old events and experiences in healthy ways. I use Obsidian to journal, and I generally start by just doing rage on a page, letting all of my feelings out, rational or irrational, about these past experiences. Mainly these are just little t trauma, nothing big, don't be too concerned. Then I work through reframing these experiences and shifting what they mean about me and about life. This is some of the most emotional self-work I've done honestly in my entire life, but it's also some of the most rewarding. Every time that I do this, I feel like I grow, I shift, and I can actually feel a difference in the way that I'm thinking. A recent note that I made captures well why I'm doing this, even though it is painful and it is hard. When you don't reframe or revisit a challenging experience in a light that you choose, every time you think of it, you continue to view it and experience it as your initial reaction to the experience. You continue embedding your initial reaction to the experience, and the meaning that you gave the experience runs deeper and deeper each time you recall it. That kind of journaling creates so many big feelings. I don't sob every single day, thankfully, but it's not abnormal. And I think for me, that's a good thing. For other people, that may not be a good thing. In saying that, some days it's like the lightest journaling session and I still have like a little mindset shift, but I'm not like all out emotional. Then I moved to my absolute favorite part of the morning, which is note-taking and reading. Instead of cobbling together a morning routine where I did a yoga routine and wrote a gratitude list because that's what I saw in a TikTok That Girl morning routine, I really wanted to make my morning routine feel like me and feel intentional. As a side note, there's nothing wrong with That Girl routines. As long as you have a real why for why you're doing what you're doing in the morning, do whatever you want. But I love to learn new things. I love to read. I love new ideas. And I'm not gonna lie, I love note-taking. I am an absolute knowledge nerd. I'm embracing it this year, and I've built it into my morning routine because when I have a good mind-expanding book awaiting me, it truly makes me excited to wake up in the morning. I built my note-taking system using the book How to Take Smart Notes in Obsidian. I'm pretty obsessed with it. I don't know how many people would be interested in seeing it, but I might do a video about it in future. So my notes always start as rough ideas and thoughts or even quotes, and I turn them into almost mini articles. And this is actually where I get a lot of my video content and ideas from. I start out with a highlight from a book usually, and then I start to reflect on that highlight and come to my own conclusions. I make my own connections, I flesh it out almost like I've got a little mini article. This always gets me so inspired because I'm writing for the sake of writing about something that I'm usually feeling really interested in at the time. So I don't feel like I'm working even though I low-key am working. Sometimes I note take and then I read, sometimes I'm reading and then I'm note taking. I started properly doing this note-taking system early this year, and it truly is my favorite thing to do. After I've done my note-taking, I usually like to get dressed for the day. I never used to get dressed for my days, but I think particularly when we had a year of staying inside, I realized that I needed to get dressed because otherwise I didn't feel like a human being. So I put on an outfit, I might put on sunscreen, maybe a little bit of makeup, and then I get ready to work. So I also have a morning routine shortcut on my computer. We love making things easy, so I can just click on my morning routine desktop shortcut. It shuts down everything and opens up the things that I want to see first. So now on Mac computers, they have the Shortcuts app, and I've set up my own little morning routine shortcut, and it closes everything and it opens all the things that I need. It makes me so happy. Lately, I've been booking a Focusmate just to start my day. Focusmate has been described as like chat roulette for working professionals mixed with the Pomodoro technique. You pretty much book a slot of time working with someone around the world. You tell them what you're working on. In the ADHD world, a lot of people call this body doubling, and anecdotally, a lot of people find this really helpful. It just puts this chill pressure on yourself to get whatever the task is done, to focus, and it can also just make a boring task more rewarding because you feel connected to someone who kind of cares that you're getting the task done alongside you. I also like to fill out my planner and time block my day, prepping myself for the day ahead. Time blocking my days helps me to do two things. I realistically schedule my time. Since I have started time blocking, I've gotten so much better with understanding how long it takes to do certain tasks. Things that I used to think would take half an hour, I now know take 3 hours, and things that I used to think would take 3 hours, I now know will take half an hour. The key is actually paying attention to where you go wrong when you time block and learning from it. I find daily time blocking is a perfect balance for me versus weekly time blocking, which can sometimes just make me feel a little trapped and a little overwhelmed. My routine ranges from fancy on my high energy days to very unfancy on my low energy days, and I've realized that the more intentional and thoughtful my morning routine is, the more that I want to do it. Choose to create routines that fit you, that meet your needs, that feel fun and interesting and engaging to you. I actually created a whole video recently on how to create a more sustainable morning routine. I'll have that link down below and on the screen. I appreciate you so very much, and I will see you soon.